Happy Friday, one and all. Derek Gunn, Rob Ellis hanging out with you. What are the weekend plans, D Gunn, looking like?
Oh, let's see. My son's fiance has her birthday party tomorrow, so we will be making an appearance there. Tonight, I got the Militant Midgets again overnight, dude. And I'm hurting. I didn't get to bed last night until 3 in the morning because I was working on the show for today. And I had to get up at 8, get out of there at 9 to get back here. It takes 2 hours to get back. I didn't get back because of construction coming back in Jersey down Route 40. It took me 2.5 hours to get back, so I'm dragging it. Sunday, after church duties, I will come home and I will channel surf whatever game's on until I hear the cry, "Can you come here a minute? I need you to do something." So that will be the extent of my weekend, my buddy. What about you?
Good. I don't know what tomorrow holds.
Wait, you're not working?
I'm off tomorrow. I got to work tonight.
Whoa.
I'm working Sunday. But yeah, I'll enjoy tomorrow, man. And like weather-wise, it looks perfection in our area. It's like, low to mid 70s, sunny. It's going to be great weather-wise. So I'm looking forward to that.
I'll be spending a lot of time on the swing set and the trampoline with the little ones. And
good way to go, man. You could be doing worse things. That's for sure.
Yeah, but I got to strategically see that 2-year-old granddaughter who has already learned that no matter what she says, my daughter taught her the art of please. She does this. She does this to me and her other grandfather and her brother and her cousins, and we all just melt like butter. So as soon as she walks in, I want to go outside on the swing. Yeah, how you say no to that? But tomorrow I must strategically plan this because there's no way I'm missing Colorado against Colorado State tomorrow, especially after. Did you see that video clip of what I sent you? What Dion did?
He gave out his blender sunglasses to all the team, and he gave them all out to the first take set as well, who were there in Colorado. Yeah,
that's like 90 pair of glasses he's giving out, dude.
It is. It's amazing to me. You're already a 4-touchdown underdog as Colorado State, right? And you're why you would say anything other than being complimentary is beyond belief to me. It really is. It is. I will never understand what people are thinking at times. You keep your mouth shut. Maybe you pull off the upset of the season if you go in there and win that game if you're them. But now you just tick them off even more. Now they're gonna beat the brakes off of you and run it up on you probably too at the same time.
Jay Norville, as a coach, you should know there's certain things, especially since you're 0-1 and you got embarrassed your first game.
Yep.
You should know that to walk with humility. And the thing is, the comment he made was unsolicited. Nobody really asked him about it.
Yeah.
He starts talking about how, you take your hat off and your glasses off when you talk to people. That's just the way I was brought up.
Yep.
And you didn't think that was going to get back to Dion and his crew. And sure enough, yesterday in practice, Dion said, they just made it personal. All we wanted to do was practice and get ready and have a good game in-state rivalry. Exactly. But they just made it, and the whole team goes personal.
Yep.
And then he walks in today and gives everybody their sunglasses. I wouldn't be surprised because Dion has changed the entire landscape of college football in a matter of weeks. I wouldn't be surprised if all the players come out for pregame warm-ups wearing those sunglasses, to be honest.
I wouldn't be surprised either. I would not be one bit surprised. And you can guarantee this. If they do shake hands, there won't be a hat taken off or sunglasses taken off. And the entire press conference, there will be a hat on and sunglasses on. I can tell you that much, man.
Man, let me tell you something, man. I don't know if Colorado is national championship material in one season under Dion. I don't even know if they can beat Oregon and or USC in back-to-back weeks. Yeah. But I do know one thing. They're a very talented group. They are fast and furious.
Yep.
And they're going to score some points.
Yeah.
And instead of getting beat by 30, like you just said, you might get beat by 50 because you opened your mouth.
Yeah.
I guarantee you this also. There are a lot of old school traditional college coaches that are gritting their teeth at the way Dion has approached this college season. Yeah. Because you know how it is. It's a copycat league. Yep. And you gotta change up to stay up with what's going on.
Yeah, so, I mean, what you're going to see, Derek, is like massive player turnover with some of
What?
these schools.
What?
The way Colorado went about it, yeah.
Rob, would you not want to play for a Hall of Famer who's vocal, inspirational, flamboyant? Would you not want to go there?
Right. And the other thing is, where do you see the amount of pros? If it depends on how long he stays there, but the amount of pros that he just starts cranking out,
Oh,
and they're going to be on national TV, and all the pregame shows are going to be at their place. This is all the stuff that appeals to kids. They're getting exposure that you normally wouldn't get, even at some of the bigger programs that you went to.
yeah.
So it is. Look, it was an all-time coup of a hiring. All time. I mean, one of the best hirings you could possibly make. Kudos to Colorado for doing it. That's for sure. All right, let's go back to the Birds here, Derek, and let's give some love here. Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, both through the first 2 weeks, and Davis had another sack. He had a half sack week 1 and a sack last night. These two are showing you that the Eagles have two monsters for a very long time in the middle of that field.
Dude, I tell you what, the Georgia Bulldogs are clamping down in the middle of their defense, man.
Yeah.
Look at this. Look at these numbers here. Jalen Carter, 2 games, 11 pressures, 10 hurries, 1 sack, and he's played less than 50% of the snaps. What if you played that man as much as you play Fletcher Cox, 52, 60% of the snaps?
Mm-hmm.
What would he do then? He is unblockable right now.
Yeah.
You know. Now, granted, Vikings were down a couple of linemen. Okay, I give you that. But you know what? You're professional. You put on that uniform. You're deemed good enough to keep. You got to have some technique about you. It doesn't make a difference. And Jordan Davis, man, has been lights out, heads and shoulders better in 2 games already this year than what he was the entire season last year. When did you remember last year Jordan Davis being on the field in 3rd down? It wasn't.
No. That's the thing that's been most impressive. Look, I'd feel good about him if he was just dominating in the run game. Like, that'd be great. He's now showing you that he's a 3-down tackle.
Oh.
Yeah, the fact that he's got a sack and a half through 2 games, a guy we thought was going to be an occupier of blockers or a run stuffer, is unbelievable.
Did you see the one play? It was like a 3rd and 9 where he pushed the line back into Kirk Cousins' face and forced Cousins to throw it away from the snap. And then there was one play, as soon as the snap, he did a quick swim move to the inside. The offensive lineman never had an opportunity to even set his feet. Mm-hmm. He did a swim move and forced Cousins to throw it away. So he did that a couple of times in the game. One with a bull rush move, which forced the lineman back. The other one, he did a swim move, shot the gap. And he was on top of Cousins before Cousins was back in his drop. And I'm thinking, this man is like 6'5", 340 pounds with cat-like quickness like this. Yep. This is what the Eagles hoped they were going to see last year. Hey, it's better late than never, right?
Yeah, and again, this is where you got to, like, I know we want everything immediately now. Like, I know that's just the society.
Spoiled, Rob.
Yeah, sometimes you got to put it in the oven and bake it a little bit, and he needed a little bit of time. Now, some guys, look, Jalen Carter looks like a house wrecker, from the second he stepped on a field. Some guys don't need that year. Some do. That's okay. Everybody's different. Jalen Carter has it all. He is a monster. He is a primetime player right now. I thought it was interesting on the broadcast last night. Kirk Herbstreit, who covered him in college, obviously, said what he was hearing regarding Carter was he's been incredibly humble. He's asking questions. He's, been a model teammate thus far around the facility. Like, they love that aspect of what they're seeing from him. And that's all you worried about. Like, you knew he could play. Nobody doubted he could play. It was, how committed is this kid? How locked in is he? What are you getting here in terms of character? And, all you can go off of it's been so far. And he's been awesome so far.
I think part of it too is, Rob, considering what he went through this past offseason, whether it was his agent or his family members or the Eagles coaching staff who talked to him, they basically said, look, you need to keep a very low profile because anything that you do contrary to that is going to be magnified. And, of course, that incident is going to be brought up again.
Yeah.
And I think he has done a tremendous job in terms of staying below the radar and just focusing on football. And because of the way he's playing, nobody's talking about that anymore. They're talking about this young man's athleticism,
Yep.
Cat-like quickness, burst, power, everything. He is everything he was built to be, which was one of the top 2 defensive players coming out in the draft this year.
Yeah, no question. All right, so I also thought Josh Sweat was great yesterday. He had the strip sack, but he was a guy who was forcing Cousins to either get rid of the ball quickly, making him uncomfortable in the pocket. Like, he was right back to last season's form, was Sweat last night.
Yeah, and they're going to need that, you know, and it's a little surprising that when you look at the discrepancy in terms of snap counts, that Sweat is getting way more than the likes of Brandon Graham. But obviously, there's a reason for that. Even when he doesn't get to the quarterback, he's collapsing the edge there and making the quarterback think about his presence. You know, the quarterback is trying to see 1, 2, 3, 4 options down the field, but he's got to keep half an eye on where Sweat is coming from. And Josh Sweat has that relentless motor. Obviously, playing the majority of the snaps has not affected his stamina nor injury up to this point. I thought there would be more balance between him and like a Brandon Graham. But when you're talking about a guy, one guy playing 49 snaps and the other one only playing 17, that tells me that there's a reason why he is out there. They need his presence more so than ever before. And to me, even though he may not generate the same amount of snaps that he did from a year ago, I think he's even better in terms of technique, burst angles, and being a disruptive factor in the backfield.
Yeah, I think. Tell me what your sense is of this, Derek. I think they're also, to an extent, pacing Brandon Graham. You know, trying to buy him time so he's fresh. You know, midway point, late in the season, postseason, whatever. I think maybe last night the snap count you said is a bit of an extreme, but I think that's part of what they're doing here as well.
Well, he's 35 years old.
Yeah.
You know, he's not a spring chicken anymore. He'll admit that. You know, that's a valid point. I didn't look at it like that. Maybe they are saving him for much more strenuous games coming up. When you talk about that murderer's row, they're going to need his veteran presence out there, maybe even more so. Right. Because Brandon will see certain things that younger guys just don't see yet. And Brandon will try to anticipate and get certain angles that young guys just don't see or recognize yet. So maybe that is the case. Maybe they're protecting Brandon from himself. 2 years ago, he had that Achilles. Right. Can you imagine if a Brandon Graham went down? And you're already talking about Nakobe Dean down as well. No. And now Vontae Maddox down.
No.
That's a huge
you can't lose guys like that. You know, the other thing, the beauty of Brandon Graham, too, is, Derek, you never have to worry about him. Like, you're not going to hear any issues with him in terms of
plays.
You know, he's unhappy with his snaps. Or there's none of that. He is the ultimate team guy.
No. You know what? He's been decorated. You know, he's got his ring. He's got his money. He's re-signed here at a bargain basement price because he's committed, number one, to the organization. He loves playing for this organization, and obviously the organization loves what he means to them, not just as a player, but as a stand-up community guy and a locker room guy who will teach the young guys the right way as well. And, of course, he wanted to stay true to what he was committed to, which was finishing his career as a Philadelphia Eagle. And let's face it, this very well could be his last year in an Eagles uniform. Yeah. Of course, we keep saying that about Jason Kelce. Jason Kelce keeps coming back. But for both of those guys, again, this could be their swan song. And they want to go out on a high note.
No question. No question. All right. So any other individual – and look, the Eagles as a unit shut down the defense, the rushing offense of the Vikings too. I'm not sure they have much of a rushing attack, but they shut it down. Any other individuals stand out to you on that side of the ball, Gunner? Because then we'll get into some of the things that are, you know, a little worrisome here.
I would say Fletcher Cox was Fletcher Cox. Fletcher Cox gave a presence when he had to. Fletcher Cox is maybe not the biggest.
Fletcher's had a great first 2 games.
Yeah. You know, Fletcher may not be the biggest D tackle in the game, but my goodness, he's one of the strongest. You know, he held the line of scrimmage. He got significant push as well in that line. And I thought for the old man on the defensive line, Fletcher Cox is going toe-to-toe with these young kids, letting them know I'm not done yet. You know, I'm not done yet. Now, I still say Fletcher plays well in spurts, and he's been that player for the last several years. You know, you don't hear from him for a lot of the game, but he comes up when he has to, and that's okay from a veteran. You know, we need you for big plays. We need you to help us get through certain crucial situations. That's what Fletcher Cox's presence does for this defense right now.
I agree with you. Look, I think he's been awesome. I think maybe there's a little bit of a fountain of youth thing, maybe, just being around Carter and Davis. I don't know, but that foursome that they roll out of Davis and Carter and Fletcher Cox and Milton Williams is really damn good, man.
And I don't think Milton Williams gets enough recognition. He's like the afterthought of the quartet, but Milton Williams has had 2 good games.
Yeah.
He doesn't get a whole lot of snaps, but when he's in there, his presence. He's good against the run. He's a good pass rusher as well.
Yep.
And you're right, Rob. I'm hard pressed to think of another team that can go 4 deep the way this team can in the D tackle position.
Absolutely. And just a quick reminder, guys, and we talked about this last week. We love the participation. We love the chat. We see you. We appreciate you. But if you're going to be out of line, you're going to be vile, you're going to be idiotic, you're going to be gone. Okay? You're going to be gone, and you will not be a part of the show. So just an FYI, we got a couple clowns that have already been bounced today, and that will continue. We like 99% of the folks are awesome.
Yes.
Yes. Unfortunately, there's a couple knuckleheads who aren't going to ruin it for everybody. They're just going to ruin it for themselves and be gone. That's all.
Yeah, I don't understand why people live their lives being antagonists like that for no reason. You get certain pleasure, certain joy out of trying to antagonize other people. I mean, let's face it, this is fun.
Yep.
Sports is about fun. This is not life or death.
Yeah.
But you get people, and I see it on chats all across the board. I see it on our other shows on the JAKIB platform. Yep. I see it on our pre and post game shows and when I'm watching other people's podcasts and stuff like that. There's like certain people, they just live to be miserable, and I just don't get it.
Yeah.
I mean, is your life that miserable? You want to try to bring everybody else down or just irk everybody else?
Yeah,
because most people in here, I want to talk football and have fun.
Have fun, exactly.
But you get these idiots that get in here and they think it's funny when they get people riled up, and it's not.
Yeah, it's not a right to be in the chat. It's not. If you're going to get racial or homophobic or be gross with certain things, somewhere else, you're going to be gone. We don't play that. So, and anyway, again, it's a tiny little portion of folks. So anyway, that's all. And that's been taken care of. We took the trash out, and everybody who's still there, we love you. So just so you know, this is not a everybody's this, everybody's that. So anyway, all right. But here's the concerning part, Derek. And some of this you can't do anything about.
Rob.
Yeah.
I know what the answer is already, but I love bringing this up anyway. So Jabari Johnson says, "Hey Rob, can we get a gritty for the Vikings win?"
Haven't I done enough gritties? Do we need more of this? Does the world need more of me?
Come on, man. It's Friday, man. Come on, man. It's Friday.
I'm trying to remember. How do I do it? I don't even remember how you do it. God almighty. I could actually just set it up. I could do it right here in the living room.
Come on, man. Come on, Rob.
I could do it. We could get me going doing something.
Come on, Rob.
I don't know. We'll see. How could I do this with holding this thing? I don't even know.
No, just leave it wide like that. All you got to do is
leave it wide. All right.
Yeah, leave it set wide.
What am I?
Come on, Rob. Give us a victory gritty.
Oh, God. All right. Can you see me?
I got you.
I don't even remember how you do this crap. Oh, my God. Yes. Eagles win. Victory Friday. Yes. There you go. All right. That's enough. I've embarrassed myself enough. Oh, my God. Man. Why do I do it?
Oh, my goodness.
I really love you, Derek, and you guys, and everybody in the chat. You guys are the best. All right.
Rob, you are a great sport, man. You really are. You really are, dude.
I have no problem embarrassing myself. Obviously, I do it every day. So there you go.
You know what, Rob?
Yeah.
And I say this all the time, and it's so true. If you can't laugh at yourself and have fun, you shouldn't laugh. You should never laugh at anybody else.
You're right. And I'll tell you, man, if you can't laugh at yourself, it's going to be a challenging life for you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like if you can't poke fun at some of your weirdness or your idiosyncrasies or, oh man, do you believe I just said that? Like if you can't be self-deprecating, it's going to be tough for you.
There's a part of me that when I'm in malls and stuff like that, and if I start dancing when I'm with my kids, I'm like, Dad, please, I enjoy embarrassing you, and I don't even care. I never once think about people saying, oh, that's D Gun over there. I could care less. I'm just a guy out shopping like everybody else. And sometimes I just like looking at my kid's face. Dad, really, what are you doing?
That's what I love to do. I like if even if it's just putting my arm around my daughter or something, she'll be like, come on, like we're out somewhere. I love it. I love just kind of getting to them a little bit or singing or whatever,
Now you people in the chat, you enjoyed Rob doing this, but we want to see some of you guys do the gritty. Now, our website, our email page. We haven't hit that email page in a lot.
Tone, can you pull that up, buddy? Can when you get a chance, Tone, just throw up there our email address so people can send. And the other thing you could do is whether it's there you go, sportstakejAKIB@gmail.com if you could.
You guys have all weekend. Some of you send us your version of the gritty. Let us have a chance to have a little fun at your expense.
Yeah. So send us that, or just send us like, hey, this is pretty cool. I climbed this mountain, whatever you're up to. Send us some cool stuff.
Bike riding the Grand Canyon, parasailing.
Yeah. Just the kid's birthday party. Like Derek has it in your son's fiance, whatever. I mean, it's just fun stuff. That's all.
So we can better connect with our chat room. Amanda said, Rob, and she put this in capitals, Rob, extra Caucasian.
Guilty as charged. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, that's true. I'm see-through, man. I am see-through.
Nothing wrong with that, brother.
That's why I can't go. I go out in the sun. I'm like baking on a griddle, man. Shh, you can hear like the shh.
Oh man.
Oh my God. All right. So the concerning thing defensively, a couple things, Derek. Again, I don't get that cranked up about the fact that the Vikings were able to throw for a lot of yards. I just think it's almost a perfect storm. You had a lot of injuries, and you have a really good. Let's face it, the strength of the Vikings is Justin Jefferson and the passing game and Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson. That's the strength of what they do.
Yeah.
So I'm not as worried, but it is getting troubling here with these injuries. So hopefully Bradbury can come back from the concussion, and hopefully it's not too severe with the ribs with Blankenship. Okay, so let's just for the sake of the argument here, the discussion, assume they're going to be back for the Tampa game. But potentially, if you hadn't heard, it looks like reports are from Adam Schefter, and Derek, you had this as well, a pretty serious injury here for Avonte. It may be a torn pec, and if that's the case, he'd be done for the season. That's a big deal. Nakobe Dean being out for the next 3 games is a big deal. So now you're already down guys in areas where you weren't all that deep anyway. Your linebacking crew was thin. Your safety crew was thin. Your cornerbacks after your first 3 are thin. This is worrisome, Derek, because this may turn into like you having to score a lot of points every single week just to win.
Well, you know what, Rob? I will say this also. Even if this defense was healthy, it was going to be a problem because, number one, new personnel you've incorporated. You had to get younger to get better down the road. And number two, because of the collection of receivers you're facing this year compared to last year.
Right.
Now, we went through this, I believe it was in training camp, but you got Terry McLaurin coming. You got Mike Evans. You've got Chris Godwin. You've got Garrett Wilson. You got that nightmare Tyreek Hill along with Jalen Waddle. You've got CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks coming. You've got Stephon Diggs coming. You got Deebo Samuels. You got Brandon Ayuk. You got DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Njigba coming. So you've got all these you're going to face. You're going to have problems anyway. But when you're at a deficit like this, and if you're going to rely on kids, you know what? Bat down the hatches, man, because it could be thunderstorms before clear skies.
You're not wrong.
You cannot be Pro Bowl caliber at every position. Every team, offensively and defensively, has a weakness. And like you just said, because of the youth movement on the back end of this Eagles defense, that's going to be a problem. I don't care. And to be honest with you, Rob, I don't care how many game reps they get. Those are the best of the best. Those are the receivers that jockey every year to be the #1 receivers in the league.
Yeah.
We just played the guy who was the receiving champion last year.
Right.
And, oh, by the way, we're going to play the guy who was #2 in Tyreek Hill and who is arguably the best and the fastest in all the NFL.
Yep.
It's the nature of the game. You're going to get beat, but you got to minimize how they beat you. That's the key.
Yeah, the thing is, okay, they're going to get theirs to an extent, but they can't destroy you. And that's the big thing. That's the problem with a lot of those guys you just talked about too. It's a lot of deep shots, with Tyreek Hill. It's a lot of home runs. So yeah, that's going to be a problem. Look, they're going to fall under some scrutiny here, Derek, because they let TJ Edwards walk. They let GJ walk. They made those decisions. You can only pay so many people. So they better hope, that they can get healthy and that these guys, can learn the NFL game relatively quickly, who are younger or make a move. And again, Howie didn't make his prototype kind of move that he usually makes right before the season started. Like I know they added pieces like Zach Cunningham and all that, but he usually makes a trade for someone of some significance. They didn't really do that, right? So that very well could be coming here.
Oh, there's no question. I would bet money that Howie's on the phone right now trying to figure out how he's going to replace Avonte Maddox.
Yeah.
I don't think Avonte Maddox's replacement is on the roster right now, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
That's not how he does things. He understands that there's value into young guys maturing. But when you are a team built to repeat as a Super Bowl contender and you're the odds-on favorite to win the NFC, you want to be as sound as you can be across the board at all positions. You always have to get younger to get better. But there are guys still sitting out there who are just waiting for somebody to call them that would jump at an opportunity to come at a team like this. They may even take less money to come here because it might give them an opportunity to do something they haven't done their entire careers, which is compete for a Super Bowl. And that's what I was doing.
Well, that's the balance. You're looking to turn the roster over, get younger, simply because you need youth and you can't pay everybody a ton of money. But you also know that this is a team that's competing for a Super Bowl this year. You're trying to win it this year. You were 3 points away from it last year. You have older players like Kelsey and Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox, blah, 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 blah. You're trying to win it this year, but you're trying to incorporate some of these guys into it. The last thing you needed was this kind of injury too, to add to it, which speeds up the process of these guys having to be out there a lot more than they normally would have.
Yes. Yes. And that's why I expected an announcement any day from the Eagles organization. Somebody's been at it.
Yeah.
We knew the depth factor was thin going into this season when we transition from veteran presence to youth. And we understand that. How he had to let go some key players because they didn't fit the Eagles' budget moving forward. And I think obviously because he understands there are more players after this season they're going to have to pay. They've already identified players they want to keep for 2024 whose contracts are coming up. And they've got to figure out a way to get them, even though they're going to get an additional 10, 12 million in the cap, you still have to let go to rebuild.
Yeah.
And who are the players that they want to make sure they keep here to rebuild for 2024? That's why I say Howie is one of the best of the best. And all teams do this, but Howie's really good at doing this. When the new season starts, he's already looking not just at this season, but already to 2024. Yeah. And it's a jockey position. If this team, who they think is here in terms of ability, all of a sudden starts to slide, he moves down the board, somebody else could move up. And that's the way the game goes. But they still have enough cap space right now. They can bring somebody. They thought Terrell Edmonds would be. Terrell Edmonds, to me, has been a disappointment for this team. So anything that you get out there right now is not going to be top caliber. They got lucky and got CJ in here last year. I don't think there's a CJ type player out there right now.
I don't think so either. Timothy asked, did any of the linebackers stand out? I thought Zach Cunningham stood out last night, but he played very well.
Zach Cunningham played phenomenal.
And I liked Morrow's game. I thought Morrow did some things.
I did too. Morrow's only problem, he's a little bit undersized. But outside of that, I thought they both filled in admirably, considering they were playing a very, very potent offense. But once they made that offense one-dimensional, I thought they played as well as you could ask them to play under those circumstances.
Agreed. All right, when we come back, Derek, we're going to look ahead to Sunday. And at the NFC East, the Cowboys are hosting the Jets. The Commanders are at the Broncos. The Giants are at the Cardinals. We're also going to look at the Buccaneers. They're taking on the Bears. So that would be the 3 teams in the NFC East and also the next opponent for the Eagles. So we'll dig into all those things when we come back. We got our full-blown NFL segment at 2 o'clock, which we'll go through the best games of the week. Also, tons of stuff to do. And it's a heavy, heavy football Friday, which is always fun. So don't go anywhere. That's Derek. I'm Rob. We are Sports Take. All right, let's tell you about Pro Action Restoration. Yes, Pro Action Restoration, place that you reach out to if your home, your business, your property goes through the pain, the inconvenience of water, fire, smoke, mold damage, could even be beyond that. Pro Action Restoration is on call 24 hours, 7 days a week to assist. Years back, my parents got flooded in their basement, and they didn't know what to do. It was a Saturday. They called me. I got over there. We were all trying to bail the water out of there, and it just wasn't getting anywhere. So I reached out to Pro Action Restoration. They got right over there. They fixed the problem. They cleaned up the mess. The price was right. The crew was great. It was a really excellent experience all around. Pro Action Restoration is licensed, bonded, fully insured. They've been serving the tri-state area for more than 2 decades. Pro Action Restoration will work in conjunction with your insurance company. So again, if it's water, fire, smoke damage, mold remediation, you name it, they can handle it. Give them a call, 610-623-3760, 610-623-3760, or online at proactionrestoration.com. That's Pro